In round one, with the division-leading Eagles holding on to an 81-73 win in perhaps the biggest game in County Forum history. Today, the Friars look to exact revenge on their court. Next. Never mind the Big East, they are two of the biggest surprises in the entire country. From the Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island, the 9th-ranked Boston College Eagles visit the Providence Friars and talk about a turnaround. Last year, these two teams at the very bottom of the 13-team Big East. Between them, they lost 38 times. 12 months later, they are 1-2 in the 7-team Big East. Between them, they have 39 wins and a couple of more weeks to add to that total. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Dick Kuchin. Thanks so much for joining us for this 1 versus 2 matchup. The winner is short of an opening round bye in the Big East tournament. But, Dick, there's much more at stake today than just an off day in New York City.
Well, I think the people that are on the selection committee are looking at this basketball game in a big-time way. The team that wins this game really sets themselves up for a great seed in the NCAA tournament.
In Troy Bell, Boston College has the best offensive guard in the conference. In John Linehan, Providence has one of the best defensive guards in the whole country. And for the most part of 40 minutes, they're going to go head-to-head just like they did 7 days ago.
And they will. I'll tell you what, how'd you like to have Linehan getting after you every single minute for a 40-minute period of time? But Bell is really capable. He can drive the basketball at the basket, and you see him score here. But Linehan's somewhat the same way as he takes it to the rack. But the key play in the game was a block that Bell put on Linehan at the end of the basketball game to seal the win.
Bell with 26 points last Saturday at County Forum. Linehan is 4th in the country in steals. Home cooking? You bet. Providence is 13-2 at the Civic Center, and in the 29-year history of this building, they've won 71% of the time here. The starting lineups are next. Friars have lost only twice, Dick, and that was early in the season to Maine and then later on to Miami.
Well, they've got a great home record, but I'll tell you what better place to be, Bob, than at this basketball game today. And from a regional standpoint, everybody feels that way.
Linehan defended by Bell. Keep your eye on that matchup. It ought to be a classic. It certainly was a week ago. Maxey defended by Xavier Singletary. Hands off to Linehan. Gets the high pick from Maxey on the switch now. Singletary on Linehan. Augustin had a big game Thursday night against Binghamton. Mills inside to Maxey, a little bit too far under the hoop.
Well, both these teams aggressive defensively, but we'll see right now that Providence is going to come out in a full court press. A little bit of a surprise.
Walls up the left sideline. Now Agbai wants to go on the 7-2 Shabazz.
Pretty nice move right there by the sophomore from New York City.
And Jim Burr right away blows the whistle and tells both players to knock it off. He won't allow any nonsense. So we take another look at the ball fake by Agbai. Burr working today with David Day and Jim Haney. In the lane, Mills finds Linehan. The pull-up jumper. High rebound, Bell deflects, but then it's run down by Linehan. Augustin for 3. Last touch by Boston College.
And you can really see the quickness of Linehan in coming up with a second shot attempt right there. For a guy his size, all of a sudden he gets that deflection, and it winds up in Augustin's hands.
When Linehan scored 22 points against Boston College last week, it represented a career high. Now off the inbound pass, the Eagles look like they're a little bit confused on the matchups. For the moment, Bell on Augustin, down low. Shabazz wants to go on Agbai, and it's called for the offensive foul.
Good defensive position that time inside, you know, and really making it difficult for Shabazz to get there. And Agbai has really come a long way as a basketball player. You know, he really positioned himself, did a great job that time, Bob.
One of Agbai's problems has been staying out of foul trouble. He lasted only 15 minutes in the loss at Notre Dame Tuesday. Bell penetrates. Singletary stripped from the weak side by Mills. Here's Maxey at 6'7", running the break himself. Now finds a guard. Mills with Singletary all over. trying to shake him. And Singletary will be called for the bump before the shot.
Well, that's a good move right there with Mills just isolating, you know, and getting an opportunity to go one-on-one against Singletary. He gets fouled before he really gets a shot off.
Linehan to inbound at the baseline. He looks for something in the lane, but Boston College takes it away. 81-73 was the final last week. It was a game of runs. Back and forth they went. Mills gets a step and a reach-in foul on the Eagles. That will be number 2 on BC, and this will be number 1 on Troy Bell.
And Providence in this basketball game early really committing to either taking a penetrating dribble or getting the ball down inside of the block.
Well, I hope the Friars worked on their inbound play underneath their own hoop. They've had to use it 3 times already. We played 2 minutes. Mills with the dribble penetration inside Maxey wasn't looking, and it's wrestled away by Kenny Harder. 2 teams feeling each other out there.
They really are. You know, they just played against each other a week ago, so, you know, all of a sudden there's that familiarity, and sometimes it's tough to get a good offensive shot off.
Agbai with the only points of the game. Singletary up high now, down low Walls. Mills with the reach-in foul. Number 1 on him, number 2 on Providence.
Well, the other thing, Bob, is that this Providence basketball team defensively is so quick. Mills was a half a step behind that time, but he still, you know, had to reach over to make the play defensively. Singletary to Bell. Bell had just 15 points Tuesday in South Bend. Singletary, long 3, and Linehan chases down the long rebound. Still 2-0. Boston College, the Eagles 10-3 in the Big East. Providence 10-4. They're 1-2 in the Big East East. The winner gets an automatic bye in the opening round of the Big East tournament, which begins 1 week from Wednesday. Mills gets a step on Singletary. A good-looking move that time by Mills. You know, he gets it back to his left hand, and Singletary was playing him on the right side.
Twice he's been able to beat him off the dribble. On the drive, Harley looking for the foul following the contact, won't get it. Linehan left side Augustin. Now here's that matchup we told you about. Linehan and Bell, instead Mills for 3. Rebound Agbai. And Linehan went for the steal and caused the travel.
And you have that one right on the head, Bob. I mean, really didn't get the steal, but I'll tell you what, his presence, he's just so disruptive to a team offensively that all of a sudden he steps in, and Troy Bell, who's an experienced player, all of a sudden he's walking.
That's the word that all of the opposing coaches use to describe Linehan. Disruptive. There's the turnover story in the early going. Points and turnovers dead even. Down low, Maxey doubled. Kick out Linehan. Rebound weak side. Great position for Singletary. Singletary finds Harley. Harley had 12 points before fouling out against the Friars last Saturday. Down low, may have dragged the pivot foot.
Great defensive effort. Again, he dribbled right into the trap. There really wasn't any place to go.
Mills by Harley wants to take it into the teeth of the defense and finds Maxey. Take it to the max.
And that's exactly what Providence wants to do. They want to make sure that not only are they taking advantage of really getting the ball down court against the press and attacking the basket.
Mills' penetration thus far has been a big factor in the first 4 minutes. He's done it 3 times, has resulted in a basket, an assist, and a foul. And another BC turnover. Timeout, 15:33 to go. Providence up 4-2, and it's been a big effort by Abdul Mills. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Factor's been number 11 in the white.
And he is a great compliment, and here you see him penetrating, and Maxey's smart enough to create an open passing lane and take it into the score.
Providence, a 20-game winner for the 12th time this year, and in the early going, the Eagles have turned it over 4 times, and this is a team, Dick, that averages only 12 turnovers per game, best in the league. Mills again penetrates and has it knocked away.
Well, it's a problem that Providence can create, though, against you. I mean, even last time out, I think they turned it over 18 times against Providence in that ball game last week.
Boston College first in the Big East in turnover ratio, and Providence is 4th. Augustin down low. Shabazz at 7-2. Blocked from behind by Agbai. Agbai is 6 inches shorter, and he got a great big piece of that one. Look at this hustle on the floor. Eventually, we're going to get a held ball.
Great job by the officials that time in not stopping play. Nobody really had control of it. But the thing about it is, it just points to the how tough these kids are playing right now. I mean, a great defensive play down inside, and then that ball gets loose, and everybody's scrambling for it.
Boy, when I was walking over here from my hotel and 10 steps out of the front door, I heard someone say, "I need 2." You knew it would be that kind of a day. Bell with the pull-up over. Shabazz gets his own rebound. Goes up a second time, and this time will draw the foul. This one will be on Shabazz. And that's number 2. 3 on the club, and that's trouble for the Friars.
You know, you can take a look. You know, you see how tough Lenahan is on the basketball. Uses a little crossover dribble, gets by him to pull up for the jump shot, and then has the presence of mind really to get his second shot.
And one of the many, many things that's amazing about Troy Bell at 6'1" is his ability to get to the line. This is his 178th free throw attempt of the year. Dick, Al Skinner was most upset Tuesday night in South Bend when Bell went to the line only 3 times.
Right, and the great thing about Bell is once he gets there, he knocks him down, shooting almost 86% from the field. You know, a guy like Bell, how would you feel to have Lenahan just all over you the whole night? I mean, he is just a guy that climbs in and stays after you and stays after you.
And at some point, we may see someone other than Bell bring the ball up. Al Skinner told me yesterday, we can't allow Lenahan to be disruptive. We have to give Troy some help. We don't want to allow Lenahan a chance to wear him out. Mills gets a high screen from Marcus Douthit to replace Shabazz. Douthit with the rebound, and it's blocked from behind by Walls. Still loose on the floor. Some more great hustle, and another held ball. Are these kids going at it or what?
Well, the answer to that one is they really are going after it. The intensity in this basketball game is really why it's been so tough to find good shots. And here you can see, I mean, just a scramble after the block shot. Everybody hustling to get down on the ball, creating a jump ball situation.
Lenahan to Augustin, quickly doubled, back to Lenahan. Gets the screen from Douthit. Lenahan has developed over the course of his career into a scoring threat. We mentioned the career high 22 against BC last week in defeat. Agbai up high. This time defended by the freshman Douthit. Down low, catch and shoot, Kenny Walls. Walls 8 times this year has been in double figures. The full court trap employed by the Eagles. The Friars handle it. Here's Mills right back in the lane over Harley. And Harley is listed as the shooting guard for the Eagles. Don't be deceived by that. He's their best rebounder.
And right now they've got Harley bringing the basketball up and kind of bringing Bell along the baseline.
And Lenahan on Bell away from the ball. Walls with Mills' hand in his face. Rebound Augustin. Here's Lenahan looking to push the pace. Providence much deeper than BC. Lenahan, talk about deep. Rebound Walls. Tim Welch will play 10 people. Al Skinner will play only 8. Will that leave the Friars the fresher of the two after 40 minutes? We'll see. Harley again defended by Augustin 2 times in a row. Al Skinner not having Bell bring it up to keep Lenahan away from the ball. Lenahan kick out Augustin.
And you can see the value of a point guard that can get the ball to the paint, and now he kicks it out and finds Augustin for the open shot. And that's really what Lenahan's value is for this ball club.
And Dick, 3 times in a row we see Harley bring the ball up the floor. Singletary. How did that not stay in? Rebound pulled down by Mills. 2-point Friars lead. We've played nearly 8 minutes. Lenahan loses Bell, and Mills finds him.
That's just a heads-up play right there to find him on a little backdoor cut.
This time it's Bell's turn to bring it up the floor. And guess who's all over him? And now they go back to Harley to run the show at the point. So Al Skinner doing something that most Friars opponents have done at some point in the game over the second half of the year. That's the effect that Linehan has. Walls. Hands to Bell. Shot clock inside 10. Left side Singletary. And the weak side rejection by Douthit. Left side Augustin for three.
And right now they've got it going, and they can score in bunches when this crowd gets into it.
Next stoppage of play will be a TV timeout. Looks like Al Skinner would like to avoid having to use one of his own. Down 7, Augustin with 5 points. Right side Harley. Goes by Augustin, who catches up and blocks the shot. Jim Burr says held ball. Possession arrow toward BC. 15 seconds left on the shot clock when we return. Timeout. 11:01 remaining. The Providence Civic Center is rocking. The crowd's beloved Friars up 7. Struggled down the stretch in its effort to make the NCAA tournament. And speaking of the NCAA tournament, John Linehan and his Friars are certainly going to be there, Dick, for the first time in 4 years.
They will, and you can see how much more effective they are with Linehan on the floor. But you got to give a guy like that a break every once in a while, and Welsh does a great job of doing that.
And Tim Welch out of the timeout switches to a 2-3 zone. Harley misses the 3. Nobody blocks out Douthit. Beerbaum tries to save. Last touch by BC. A couple of substitutions. Sheku Kaba in for Providence, as is Chris Anron. So is Maris Laxa. 3 freshmen. Pull up right side, and there's another freshman, Douthit, with his second block of the afternoon. Dick, the Friars, with so much at stake, have 1, 2, 3, 4 freshmen on the floor.
And they've had a lot of experience throughout the course of the year, and Tim does play 10 guys. He goes 10 deep.
Ryan Sidney's a freshman for BC. Can't get the 3 to fall, and here comes Kaba. Laxa deadly from 3-point range. So's Anron. The shooting story for Providence from the beginning of the game to now. Right side Chris Rogers. He's the only senior. Anron misses the 3, and Harley runs down the rebound in the corner. Anron was 4 of 5 from 3-point range in a 61-point win Thursday night against Binghamton. Beerbaum wanted to go to Sidney down low, but Rogers denied the pass. Left side Beerbaum goes on Laxa, leaves for Sidney for the spin move in the lane.
Good looking pass that time by Laxa to Sidney. And really that's what they've got to do, penetrate and give the basketball up.
BC with the trap. Let's see how the Friars, with all the freshmen on the floor, handle it. Laxa, wide open 3. Oh, he leads the team in 3-point shooting percentage at 47.6%.
And you know, if he gets that much room, he's just chomping at the bit to put it down.
Harley in the lane as it knocked away, picked up by Laxa. Providence up 8. Rogers runs down the lead pass, and then it's stolen from behind by Sidney. Beerbaum to Harley. The pace of this game, the intensity of this game has been phenomenal over the first 11 minutes. Can these two teams sustain it? Agbai, head fake over Douthit. Draws the foul. Maris Laxa has given Tim Welsh a big lift off the bench, and something, frankly, he didn't have last year.
Really, and I'll tell you what, the open shot and hitting the open shot has really done great things for BC this year, because Providence didn't have that as an ingredient last year. And when they're open, I'll tell you what, they make the shots.
Agbai misses the free throw. The foul on Laxa. This is what the Friars have done from 3-point range this year, and the phenomenal effort in the blowout win over Georgetown. They already have 81 more 3-point field goals this year than they did last year, and the Friars still have one regular season game remaining, and hopefully for them, many more to come after that. Rebound in the lane is pulled down by Anron, the freshman from Sweden. Mills back in for Providence. The Eagles average 80 points a game, and Vic, they're stuck on 8, 12 minutes in. Mills with that penetration again, And the rebound from the weak side taken by Singletary, and Douthit over the top with the foul.
Well, and any time Boston College has reached that plateau of 80 points, they've won. It's happened to them 12 times, and they've won all 12 basketball games. So it's a number that they want to get to.
And they have failed to score 70 points only once in their first 23 games. Singletary brings it up the floor. So this is 3 different Eagles who have had a chance to bring it up the floor. And Linehan chasing Bell, who is running him into screen after screen after screen away from the ball. Bell. Oh! An off-balance shot. Now Bell went for the steal on the inbound. The result is a wide-open look by Anron and a rebound by Mills. Bell went for the steal, and Linehan just exploded up the floor. Linehan on the switch, guarded by Ross. He's much too quick for him. Let's see if he tries to take him off the bounce. Right side latch the pull-up. Lead back up to 8. Quickly, Bell finds Singletary. Look for Beerbaum, and Sidney with the save along the sideline. And as Sidney goes, Linehan gets a hand on it, and Douthit rejects the shot. Linehan, kick out, right side, Anron. Rebound, Brian Ross. This place would have erupted if that had dropped.
Well, and again, you know, you've got that point guard, Linehan, getting the basketball inside, kicking out to shooters who are getting good looks.
Singletary finds Beerbaum. Left side, Bell with Linehan on him. Shoots over Linehan. Oh, tough shot.
And one of the great things about Bell, and we've seen it in the last 2 sequences, he's got the ability to create his own shot off the dribble. You know, and that's something that's really tough to do as a ball player.
Talk about the pace of the game. It would have been a TV timeout, but Tim Welch doesn't want to wait. So we'll step aside. 6:42 to go. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Oh, Bell and Linehan, Dick, worth the price of admission.
They really are. And you know what? Bell is just trying to run him off all kinds of screens to just create some spacing so he can get a good shot. And now all of a sudden he pops out. Linehan's still with him, so he's got to create off the dribble. And believe it or not, that shot goes down. And that's really a trademark of a great basketball player.
I thought it was a little much when Bell tried to run him off the screen by you. He came right by us. You're at 6'8". You said a heck of a pick. Maxey knocked away by Ross. Linehan defended by Bell. Next stoppage will be an official timeout. Now on the switch, Ross on Linehan. Augustin with the change in direction on the dribble. We are at the Providence Civic Center in the capital of Rhode Island on a Saturday afternoon. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Dick Kuchin. So glad you could join us for this Big East matchup between the number 1 and 2 teams of the Big East. And Jonathan Beerbaum from the weak side converts the alley-oop feed from Xavier Singletary. 20-14 Providence, 5:47 to go in the half.
And that was by design. Great looking back screen right there to set that play up.
And this time at the other end, Beerbaum will be whistled for his first foul of the afternoon. That's only 3 team fouls on the Eagles, and we have an official timeout. You think Jonathan Beerbaum can get up in the air? 5:42 to go in the half. It's Providence by 6. Part of the sellout crowd of 12,993 here in Providence for this big matchup in the Big East East. 18th ranked Notre Dame with an 11-point lead at Virginia Tech this afternoon. Final, Georgetown beats Syracuse. So that means in the Big East West, Notre Dame not only all alone in first place, but with that loss by Syracuse, the Irish, Dick, can do no worse than tie for the regular season title, and with a win today against Virginia Tech, will win the division outright.
And they've had a great year, and with great players, guys coming through like Humphrey, and certainly Troy Murphy's an outstanding player.
What a year Mike Gray has had in his first season as a coach in the Big East. Mills looks for Maxey down low. Instead, reversal to Linehan. Shot clock now at 10. On the switch, Beerbaum at 6'7", knocked it away. And here's Beerbaum. What's he going to do this time? Well, he'd like to relive it, I think. But Bell doing what he does so well, get to the line.
Well, Beerbaum that time just got a little bit too deep. You know, he could have really handed it off to Bell and had, you know, your point guard make a play. Instead, he got up in the air. And Augustine did a great job of getting back and taking away the driving lane.
So Bell will go to the line after the first foul on Ramil Augustine. Troy Bell is in the top 10 in the Big East in 6 different offensive categories, including free throw shooting. 4th best free throw shooter in the league. Last year, as a freshman, he was the 2nd best free throw shooter in the country. And he had a game against Miami this year when all he did was go 17 for 17 from the line. Now here's Bell on Linehan. Augustine down low. Maxey wants to spin on Beerbaum, shoots over him. Rebound Ryan Sidney, who at 6'2" has some serious leaping ability. Beerbaum spins on Maxey and then tried to tap it in, and he did.
He's a kid that just gets better and better and better as he's progressed through the season, and one of the real reasons for the success that Boston College has had this year.
Well, Beerbaum had one very important tip-in at Miami on January 7th. It came with 27 seconds left to win the ball game. Linehan on the left, defended by Singletary. Now up top to Mills with Sidney on him. And here comes Bell with the steal, but he can't save it. Shot clock says 10. And Tim Welsh will go to his bench, and back in will come Chris Rogers.
And right now, what they're trying to do is isolate Maxey down inside against Beerbaum. But not only did he do a great job of getting that second shot attempt down the offensive end, but he's really doing a heck of a job on the defensive end inside against Maxey.
There's the shot clock, so the Friars don't have much time to get something going. Linehan gets the screen from Maxey. Augustine has to let it go. He won't, and there's a shot clock violation. Turnover number 5 for the Friars. BC also with 5 as Maris Laxa and Shehu Kaba return for the Friars, as Tim Welsh, Dick, obviously trying his best to keep the troops fresh and substituting constantly.
He does, but he's done it all year long. He goes about 10 deep. I don't think there's a guy that does a better job of it, you know, because it's really hard to keep everybody, you know, in sync doing that, but they seem to do it and do a good job of it.
Top Agbai, hard pass to Sidney, maybe too hard, and it results in a turnover. Timeout, 3:48 to go in the first half here at the Providence Civic Center. The Eagles looking for win number 20. The Friars already have number 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, this time.
See a 4-year player here. Chris Rogers played the last 2 years of his career, as did Karim Shabazz, a transfer from Florida State. Maxey was the do-everything guy last year, Dick, and this year has a lot more help. The Friars are a better team for it.
And I think it says a lot about Maxey and his, you know, on-court personality, a guy that's willing to subjugate himself to the rest of the ball club, and it's really paid dividends. And it's great for these seniors to have the kind of year that they've had this year, Bob.
Right side Rogers, one of those seniors. Down low Shabazz, back in with 2 fouls. Beerbaum got a piece of the ball and a piece of Shabazz, and that's foul number 2 on Beerbaum.
And it's a great job that time, not only getting the basketball down inside on a nice pass, but once Shabazz gets it, he controls the ball and he goes right up into the basket. And that's very difficult to teach a center sometimes to do that.
Shabazz began his college career at Florida State, spent 1+ seasons there, appeared in 37 games, made 32 starts before he transferring here to Providence. Misses both free throws. And the Friars are the best free throw shooting team in the Big East at 72.8%. Bell now defended by Rogers with Linehan getting a rest. Agbai, that one was altered by Shabazz. That one was blocked by Laxa, resulting in a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Providence.
Number 21, Marcus Downey checking into the Friar lineup.
Well, again, you know, there's a lot of congestion down inside, but the defenders down inside are doing a terrific job of not reaching in and just building a wall and going up and getting the block. So we've seen that a number of times this afternoon.
Laxa, a 6'9" freshman from Latvia with one of 5 blocks. For the Friars this year, they have 62 more block shots than their opponents this season.
Not a smart play that time by Sidney. You know, the ball's entered to the high post, and he just kind of went for the steal when a player isn't dribbling it, and it's an obvious call.
Number 1 on Sidney, 5 on the team. Ryan fouled out after 21 minutes against the Friars last Saturday at Conti Forum. Providence overcame a 12-point deficit to take the lead last Saturday, only to lose it down the stretch by 8. Agbai takes it right away from Douthit, then it's wrestled back. Kava for 3. Just like Tim Welch diagrammed it, huh? Bell explodes by Rogers and has it knocked out of bounds by, was it Rogers or Laxa? Evidently neither. They say it was last touched by Bell.
I think he must have just lost control as he went up, but there were 3 defenders there, and it would have been a tough shot to get to the glass.
See if BC can gain some ground with Linehan out of there, but not so far as Douthit hits in the lane.
And he's really an effective player tonight so far. He is really in a situation where he's doing it on both ends, defensively and offensively, giving great minutes off the bench.
Sidney goes by Rogers. Tipped up by Singletary. Long rebound, Kaba. 2-on-2. Kaba's shot blocked by Bell, but that's foul number 2 on Troy. Coming up at halftime, we will take a look at the Big East Wire. Dick and I will also tell you about several players who have an opportunity to break Big East career records and single-season records, plus first half highlights and stats from this one. That's all coming up on the ESPN Plus halftime report. 2:07 remaining in the half. As we look at Al Skinner, who told me yesterday we have to figure out a way to avoid a slow start at the beginning of each half. We need to concentrate better on our execution. They have had a problem getting out of the gates, particularly in the second half in recent games.
Really, but the biggest problem right now is the way that Providence has played defense on them. They're doing a great job. They're just not giving them anything on the offensive end.
9-point Friars lead, their biggest of the afternoon. Kaba on Bell. Singletary looking inside, nothing there, so he settles for the pull-up. And he has struggled to make an outside shot in recent games. Sidney switches hands to the left.
And a great hustle play by Sidney that time, the freshman from Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Douthit, down low, Laxa. Good ball movement by the Friars. Rogers 3. And a great box out by Agbai allows Singletary to get the parent. And here's Harley at the other end. Dribbles right into traffic and somehow emerges with a layup.
Now that one you don't draw up that way. You know.
That's one of those jobs where you're coaching, you go, no, 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 all right. Right side Laxa. Erron gets the screen and a wide open look. His 40th three-pointer of the year, and Dick, the Friars have 6 players with 30 or more threes, and Kaba forces Bell to turn it over.
And the pressure that they can apply on the basketball between guys like Kaba and Lanahan, and really everybody comes out and does a very, very good job of putting pressure on the basketball. It really makes it tough on a guy like Bell coming down the court, and it'll wear you down, too, during the course of a ball game.
8th turnover for the Eagles, and Linehan is back in for the Friars. Douthit, defended by Agbai, who knocks it away. Now he needs some help, and he finds it in Sidney, who goes right on Douthit, tipped in by Bell. Great presence by the center Agbai to not put the ball on the floor.
And to give it up. You know, he had to dribble, and all of a sudden he gives it up, and that's a tremendous play by the big guy.
Linehan defended by Bell. Less than a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. So the Friars, if they want, can run it all the way down.
And you can believe that Linehan right now looked to penetrate with the 4 other players being along the baseline, or get a little pick and roll.
Gets by Bell. Almost looked like Bell was overplaying him. 6 points for Linehan. And Al Skinner is going to use his timeout with 0.8 of a second left. You can't carry over all the timeouts in the second half, so you either use it or lose it, and he's going to use it.
And you can see Linehan just waiting, and there's no help down inside, and he manages to get through a little bit of traffic and lays it off the glass. Perfect timing on the play, and you knew what he was going to do. But you know what they did a great job of that time, Bob? They brought that weak side offensive player on the weak side block up the lane, and it kind of dragged the defensive player up with him.
Bell and Linehan, as we mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, I don't think anyone would argue that Bell's the best offensive guard in the league, and I don't think anyone would argue that Linehan's the best at the other end.
Well, that's true. I mean, 20.5 points a ball game for Bell, and you just know that the steals that Linehan has 3.5 a game. I mean, he's just a disruptive player, and any coach in the country would tell you that. Both these teams are going to present problems to people when they're playing in the NC2A tournament. I'll guarantee you that.
Harley got it off. Wow, would have counted. So a heck of a half for the Providence College Friars. When leading at halftime, Tim Welch's Friars are 16-1. At halftime, it's Providence 31, Boston College 23. And yes, Linehan and Bell spent a good part of the afternoon in each other's company.
Well, fairly even matchup. The intensity defensively in this basketball game put on by both Bell and Linehan is really the story. But Bell's got 9 points, and when you go out and figure that the Eagles have only put up 23.5, it's a pretty good job.
And the Eagles have struggled to start the second half 4 times in their last 5 games. They have been outscored by an aggregate score of 81-16 to begin the second half over the first 9 minutes, and that's something they really have to avoid today.
And it really cost them the Notre Dame game the last time out, in that they got outscored 14-0 in the run early in the second half.
And when that stretch began against UConn, BC was leading the Huskies by 10 at halftime in Hartford. Then were outscored by 21 in the second half. Good start for the Eagles. Kenny Wall.
And it's not going to happen this afternoon because Walls gets out and knocks it down, and he had a pretty good look that time.
4 points for Wall, so the lead is 6. How balanced is Providence? Ramil Augustin led them in scoring in the first half with only 7 points. Bell with the steal. Can Linehan catch him?
Well, he caught him, but Bell is a smart player, and he was smart enough to let Linehan go by him before he took that shot.
And Troy Bell is in double figures for the 24th consecutive time. All 24 games this year, and the 48th time in 51 career games. Mr. Consistency. Mills gets by Harley into traffic and floats it up with the left hand. And comes up hobbling. Keep our eye on that. He's in a great deal of pain. He's reaching for his lower back. Must have twisted something. Harley. Bell with Linehan on him. Left side Walls. Gets the screen from Agbai. Weak side rebound is run down on the sideline. Tried to save it, did Maxey, but right into the lap of Agbai. Then Bell is bumped by Mills, who wants out. Mills says, my back's hurting. I can't go. So he will leave, and we will keep our eye on that. Kevin Corey, the trainer, no doubt will start to work on it.
Well, you can see Harley trying to come off the screen, and Augustine is just hanging on him. Harley comes down with his arm a little bit, but it's lucky he didn't get caught.
Off the inbound, now it's Rogers defending Bell. Rogers replaced Mills. Singletary for 3, and he has really struggled against the Friars.
He really has. In each of the ball games they've played so far, he goes 1 for 8, 1 for 9, 1 for 8, and he was 0 for 4 in the first half.
Counted Shabazz with the left hand and the foul. Those numbers that you mentioned, Dick, the last 4 times Singletary has played against Providence.
And Shabazz gets open. See how open he gets deeper in the paint, and as soon as he does that, he makes a really quick move to the basket. It's a good take by Shabazz.
The foul was on Agbai. Singletary, by the way, 0 for 5 today.
That means in his career against Providence, he's 3 for 30.
Wow. He was 1 for 7 from three-point range in the loss at Notre Dame on Tuesday. Did help out with 8 rebounds and 6 assists.
Oh, he's a terrific player, and Al Skinner's really done a great job of moving him to the 3 spot. But, you know, it must be the matchup that causes some problems for him.
Walls with the 3 over Augustin. Now, Augustin took a shot to the face, inadvertent, I believe. And as he was holding his jaw, Walls let loose with the 3. First 3 of the afternoon for the Eagles. Long rebound, Rogers. Kick out, Linehan. BC is 5th best in the Big East in 3-point shooting percentage at 36%, but it took them more than 22 minutes to get the first one to fall this afternoon. Away from the play, the hold on Singletary, and you don't want to waste fouls that far from the hoop.
Well, certainly not against Shabazz. I mean, he's a good player, but out there away from the basket, he's not really that much of a threat, and he reached in, and that's really got him in trouble. You want ball pressure, but you don't want to be reaching in.
Second foul on Singletary, and Linehan buries the deep 3. 9 points for the junior from Chester, Pennsylvania. Now Harley at the point. Look at Linehan all over him. Too much so, says Jim Haney. Foul number 1 on Linehan.
Prior fouls on number 12, John Linehan.
And he comes out, he's trailing a little bit, but then he climbs right up and in. And he's tough enough and quick enough to just get all over a guy and make a little bit of mistake, and then quick enough to recover.
9-point Providence lead. Bell, Linehan, foul number 2. Can't complain about that one.
Number 12, John Linehan, his second, team 3rd.
Well, and Bell, you know, he's going to put the ball down and penetrate, and you know, an easy call for the official.
Walls finds Singletary down low. Agbai. Remember, Shabazz has 2 fouls. Singletary pull up 3. 0 for 6 from the floor. Long rebound, Agbai, and a fresh 35. They want to go right at Shabazz again. They find Agbai, who catches it, and Shabazz and Augustin were both there. I think Jim Haney's going to get Augustin from the other side. He does. That will be number 2 on him. But what a great job of not only getting the ball to Agbai, but on the right side.
Yeah, and this is really critical for a guy to pass the ball in. But if they wanted to, they could both share that foul right there. Give each a half of a foul because they both nailed him pretty good. And
Tim Welsh won't go for that one, Dick.
No, I don't think so. But Agbai has really developed as a basketball player. You know, he's an undersized center. He put on about 40 pounds between his freshman and sophomore year. And I think he's a player that is just going to continue to mature and get better as a basketball player.
Laxa replaces Maxey for Providence, and it's been a very quiet day for Erron Maxey. Tim Welsh told me when his team played at BC last Saturday, we didn't handle the ball well. We allowed too many easy baskets. Our guards have to do a better job of getting the ball inside.
Well, Providence turned it over 20 times in that basketball game, so Coach Welsh is right on target with those comments.
And that's a Providence team that's 4th in the Big East when it comes to turnover ratio. But they were playing the team that's 1st in the conference in turnover ratio. Funny how those numbers change when you're depending upon the opposition. Shot clock inside 10. Let's see if Linehan wants to take Harley. A little too hard. Rebound, Singletary, and Shabazz with the foolish reach-in foul, and that is his 3rd.
Prior fouls on number 3, Karim Shabazz, his 3rd, team 5th.
5 team fouls on the Friars, and that brings us to our first official timeout of the second half. 15:57 to go. Shabazz has 3 fouls. His Friars have a 7-point lead. Linehan with his first 3 of the day. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Earlier this year, he went a first half against Villanova with no fouls, then picked up 4 fouls in 2 minutes and 12 seconds of the second half. He does have a penchant for picking them up in bunches.
Well, and you know, the matchup right now becomes Douthit inside against Agbai. But, you know, Douthit has done a very, very good job in coming in and getting better and better and better as a basketball player.
Screen by Harley, frees up Bell for the 3. Basic basketball and a solid pick set up that. 14 points for Bell. And all of a sudden, the Eagles are within 4. No woes to start the second half for BC this afternoon. Rogers, right side, gives to Mills, who's back in. Remember, he left holding his back. Up top, Laxa. Shot clock inside 10. Laxa lets go the 3. And we're going to get a foul underneath the hoop on the Eagles.
Boston College fouls on number 00.
Will be on Agbai. And we mentioned Boston College's problems starting the second half, but not today.
No, really, they've come out in the second half right here and played very, very well and gotten good shots, but it had been a problem for them, so obviously they went to work on it.
Foul number 2 on Agbai. Douthit deflected by Agbai, but right into the lap of Rogers. Douthit at 6'10", puts it on the floor. Now down low, Laxa at 6'9", has height on Bell, but Agbai helped out, but it didn't matter.
And Laxa's hit some big key baskets in this ball game. The 2 threes he hit in the first half, and a nice little move down inside there.
Singletary still struggling. 0 for 7. Bell for 3. Rebound. Agbai deflected it, and it's run down by Harley. Right back down low to Agbai. Count it. And the foul on Douthit.
Was a great job of finding him down inside, and Agbai really created this by tipping it back outside. Good pass down inside by Agbai. Little turnaround jump shot, and he kisses it off the glass, you know, which is really a sign of a fundamentally sound move.
The foul on Douthit was his second. 16 fouls on the Friars with 14 minutes to go. So the next foul committed by Providence will send the Eagles into the bonus. And Dick, they're a 70% free throw shooting team, 4th best in the Big East, so they'll have some chances.
Well, I talked to Tim O'Shea, the assistant basketball coach at Boston College, before the game. He just felt it was critical that they make some shots, and they've done that to work their way back in this basketball game right now, only being down by 3.
Agbai with the 3-point play now has 7. Full court pressure with Walls at the point of this zone trap. Now they settle back into the half-court man-to-man. Bell is on the bench getting a rest, so for the moment, Sidney is on Linehan. Mills. Shot clock at 10. Starts to go, and a hard pass inside. I think it went off Maxey's shoulder. That one was a Roger Clemens fastball, and I think maybe a Tommy John changeup may have been more appropriate. The crowd imploring the Friars to make a defensive stop. Their lead at the half was 8. It's now down to 3. And the ball is knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Eagles. Turnover number 9 for Al Skinner's club.
And again, that's Linehan right in there digging at the basketball, just putting tremendous pressure. And the ball goes out of bounds. It's deflected out of bounds by Boston College.
This has been a war right from the beginning, much as it was 34 years ago, which is the last time these two teams played when both were nationally ranked. We caught a glimpse of the turnovers. Providence, by the way, is ranked 25th in the country in the Associated Press poll. It's the first time they've been ranked by any poll in 4 years. BC number 9 in the ESPN USA Today poll. And there's Laxa with another 3. Quickly up the floor. Difficult catch made by Agbai, who is mugged by Cabo. And the Friars are now over the limit.
And Laxa's just got the kind of stroke from the corner, and, you know, with Linehan pushing the ball up the court, he gets enough room and he knocks it down. Now, interestingly enough, you know, Laxa's a player that broke his nose in the Virginia Tech game. It was a very, very physical game. But if he gets any room at all, Bob, it's down.
So let's see if Boston College can take advantage of its free throw opportunity. We mentioned that Al Skinner not happy with the free throw disparity. The other night in South Bend, Troy Murphy went to the line more times than Al's team did. That won't be the case today. With 13 minutes left and the Friars over the limit, the Eagles should have many chances.
And as you mentioned, they're an excellent foul shooting team, but what's really critical is to continue to penetrate to the basket and get the ball down inside so you can work your way to the foul line.
And without Shabazz, that becomes something that, at least on the surface, would appear to be easier to execute. Agbai cuts the lead to 4. Sidney now at the point of the press. Bell back in after getting a rest. Sidney got a hand on it, and then Harley knocks it off of Linehan. If it weren't for John Linehan, you might use that word disruptive to describe Ryan Sidney.
And, you know, Boston College really felt they had to get something out of their press right now, and they do this time, you know, and the key in this ballgame now is to convert off something like this.
Bell, Friars showing a 2-3 zone. Down low, Agby got the sweet position.
And a good job that time by Boston College, even though going against the 2-3 zone, to take advantage of the matchup on Agby down inside.
BC within 2. Anron knocked away by Sidney. Here's a 2-on-2. Sidney takes it himself. Gets his own rebound. Gets the rebound again. And now we'll get to the line. How about the effort by Ryan Sidney?
You know, he's a remarkable player, and I think this holds true for a lot of kids that are playing at Boston College. Not highly recruited out of Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Just hustles and a very, very aggressive play down inside. He stays after it. This is his 3rd time, and the 3rd time's a charm. He gets fouled.
Ryan also knows where the cameras are. The foul on Laxa, his 2nd, 8 on the team. Sidney misses the 1st, and Tim Welsh feels he can't wait any longer. And back in goes Karim Shabazz despite the 3 fouls. Sidney had a chance to tie it. Now instead has a chance to pull the club within 1 and does. Linehan. Harley knocked it away. Now finds Mills. The crowd somewhat pensive. The crowd has been at the edge of its seats, or in the case of the students in the end zone, on their feet the whole game. In the lane, knocked away, taken by Sidney. And here's Harley, Boston College, with a chance to take the lead. Beerbaum beats Agby in the lane. Offensive foul on John Beerbaum. That'll be his 3rd. 4 team fouls on the Eagles this half. Timeout. 11:47 to go in the ball game. It's been quite a run by the Eagles in the 2nd half. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Chance to take the lead, but a charge called on Beerbaum. What do you think?
Well, Beerbaum takes it hard to the basket, you know, and he tries to slide by Shabazz. You know, it's a tough call, but, you know, one that, you know, is a decision that maybe, I thought maybe a no call should have come out of it, but hey, pretty good defensive effort, pretty good offensive play, and these guys are real good with a whistle, so no real questions asked. The only question asked by Beerbaum.
Yeah, had it Shabazz, someone with Campbell, looked like he was trying to take the charge. He's got 3 fouls, but it did not backfire. Foul on the floor. Is this one on Troy Bell? If so, it's his 3rd. It is. That's 5 on the Eagles. PC to inbound beneath its own hoop. Friars have won 4 of their last 5 and 9 of their last 11. Earlier this year, they had a 5-game winning. Heads up, Dick. Ryan Sidney was headed our way, but he catches up, misses the shot, and Shabazz with the rebound. Eagles just can't quite seem to get over the top. They've had 3 chances now to either pull even or take the lead, and have failed to do so. Shabazz. Up high, Maxey. Down low, Shabazz wants to spin on Agby. Gets him off his feet. 5 points for the senior from Far Rockaway, New York, where he was a high school teammate of former Providence guard Todd Shamgar. Right side, Bell, blocking foul, Linehan. That will be number 3 on Linehan, and they've come in the first 9 minutes of the 2nd half.
And this time right now, you know, Bell going against Linehan, Bell just gets his head and body by him. A good call that time, and Bell will go to the foul line.
So at the free throw line will go Troy Bell, who is one of the 15 finalists for the Naismith National Player of the Year Award. makes the first. Last year was the Big East Rookie of the Year. 3 times this season has been named the Big East Rookie of the Week. Equaled his career high earlier this year when he scored 31 against St. Peter's. Has been just remarkably consistent through the first 51 games of his college career. The lead down to 1. Linehan in traffic. Left side, Erron. Linehan ball fake. Shabazz can't hang on. And now BC will have another chance to take the lead.
These two teams, they've got such chemistry when they get on the floor with each other in their own play. You can understand defensively, they're both very good basketball teams. You can see why they've come as far as they have this year.
Turnover number 14 for Providence. Remember, Linehan's got 3 fouls. Screened by Agbai. They wanted to go pick and roll. Harley, the cutter, down the lane. It's blocked by Augustin. Harley gets it back. And for the first time since scoring the first basket of the game, Boston College has the lead. This game is starting to resemble the one last Saturday. The back and forth. Steele Sidney, 3 on 1. Harley juggled it. Last touch by Providence. Providence calls time with 9:51 left. It will be BC ball underneath its own hoop.
Well, the thing that's given Providence all kinds of problems right now is this half-court trap, three-quarter court trap, and Boston College converts it, and all of a sudden they're taking it in and taking it to the hole. Harley juggles it a little bit, and the ball gets blocked. Okay, now he comes back up and makes the shot again with beer bomb all over the glass, well above the rim.
So Boston College has the lead. Talking to Al Skinner about the stakes of this game, he said, it's just part of being successful. We've had many of these big games. This is just one of them, but at least we're in charge of our own destiny. That's what every team means. And if Boston College can win today and then beat St. John's on Wednesday night at home, no easy task, and if they can beat West Virginia on the road next Saturday, the Eagles will finish first in the Big East. There are numerous scenarios, but Providence, Boston College, and even St. John's can still wind up with the #1 seed in this division. But one thing's certain, the winner today will get an opening round bye in the Big East tournament. Sidney tried to find Ross and throws it right into Augustin's hand. Here comes Linehan, and now the crowd coming alive. Linehan explodes. Does it count? Yes, it does. 11 points for John Linehan.
And again, this too is coming off of a turnover, and Linehan comes down head up. You can see everything that's going on the floor, takes it into the basket and knocks it down.
And foul number 4 on Troy Bell. So let's see what Al Skinner does. 16 fouls on the Eagles, so for the moment he will take his star out with 9:25 remaining. Linehan has picked up 3 fouls, guarding Bell in the first 11 minutes of the second half. Now he draws foul number 4 on Bell. The Friars regain the lead.
And really a key point in the ball game right now with Bell on the bench. You know that Providence is going to come out and really pressure the basketball and try to create turnovers.
Left side, Sidney, down low, beer bomb. Works his way in on Laxa. Then it's picked up on the far side by Agbai, who has been all over the place in the second half.
Well, there's some aggressive basketball going on down in that block area right now. I mean, Beerbaum gets it down there, and he takes it to the basket. And, you know, and I think it's good, clean play. Then all of a sudden it winds up in Agbai's hand, and he gets fouled.
So at the free throw line will go the 6'8" sophomore from Queens Village, New York, where he played for the legendary high school coach Jack Curran at Archbishop Malloy.
And that means one thing. You know, as a player, he's fundamentally sound down inside because he does a great job with his high school basketball team.
We are at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Big East basketball on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Dick Peterson. We have exactly 9 minutes left. Boston College 49, Providence 48. The Eagles in first place in the Big East at 10-3. The Friars at 10-4. Laxa misses the three, and Sidney way up in the air for the rebound, then just explodes into the front court and scores.
What a move by Sidney. Goes up and gets the ball well above the rim, takes it out, and goes coast to coast.
And now with Bell out, Sidney's on Linehan. Linehan gets by him. Rebound pulled down by Harley. The Eagles up 3. Right side, Singletary. Still looking for his first basket. Linehan ahead of the field, but Mills doesn't try to get it to him. Instead, dribbles into the lane and is stripped by Agba. 3-on-3. Well, it was. Good thing Laxey's got that mask on, huh? Might have broke his nose a second time. Mills for 3. Rebound Shabazz. Linehan, 3. Rebound on a hop to Singletary. Dick, they can't keep this pace up, can they?
No, right now both these teams are tired right now, and they'll probably set it up and run a little offense right here. Give their bigger players down inside an opportunity to rest.
Beer bomb. Finds Agba. Blocked by Shabazz. He's third in the Big East in blocked shots. That was his 60th of the year. Mills right side, wide open 3. Laxa. Long rebound, Mills. Tim Welsh setting up a play. We approach the 7-minute mark. This is like a heavyweight fight. And we're in about round 12. And I don't think there's going to be a decision. On the right, Mills. Now on the switch, the pick and roll, he had Laxa. Instead takes it himself. Augustin, left side pull-up. Great rebound position by Beerbomb. Prevented Laxa from being able to corral that Karim. Timeout. 6:54 remaining. And it's Boston College by 3. Providence may be deeper, but Boston College has a weapon off the bench by the name of Ryan Sidney.
He does it all. He goes up and grabs the rebound with 2 hands well above the rim, and now takes it all the way down the floor on the dribble and slides back, pulls up, and makes a nice little move inside. Hey, this is a pretty good guy for a young player that was not a highly recruited player. He's a guy that has really turned the corner and helped Boston College turn the corner.
Well, Sidney is the only player in BC's 8-man rotation who is new this year. The rest are the same, although they played together for a couple of years, and they're much better players than they were a year ago. Brian Ross is in. Down low, Harley spins. Rebound in the lane. Last touch by Providence. For BC to inbound beneath its own hoop. Sidney getting a rest on the floor. He doesn't appear to be receiving any medical attention. Singletary on the curl. Rogers may have had a piece. Rebound inside. Harley gets it out to Walls. Singletary finally gets one to go. The first basket of the afternoon for Xavier Singletary after 9 misses.
And that time he had a good look, and you know, they keep good pressure on him. They know he's a quality shooter from the outside.
Talk about pressure. Walls and Harley, the two Kennys, create a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Providence with 28 seconds left on the shot clock.
You know, and this pressure has not been solved really by Providence in the second half. A good-looking trap. He brings it down. All of a sudden, Boston College is stepping in to get the tie-up.
Bell still on the bench with 4 fouls. On the right, Amrin now left side Cabo. Amrin for 3. Rebound in the lane, and David Day will get a rebound foul on Brian Ross. That's number 7 on the Eagles, so the Friars will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1.
Boston College fouls on number 45, Brian Ross, his first, team 7.
First foul on Ross, who in his senior year in high school led the state of Massachusetts in scoring, 36 points per game. Should Providence win today, the Friars also could control their own destiny to win the division. I'm holding a sheet in front of me. The scenarios to win the Big East with still a week to go in the season. It would take, well, longer than the Ford administration to tell them all. But just suffice it to say, neither team can clinch the #1 seed today. No matter who wins today, that team will clinch an opening round bye in the Big East tournament. Because St. John's can still sneak in if they run the table. If Boston College wins today and beats St. John's Wednesday, then they will wrap up the division. Agbai on the left, Harley. Great ball fake, then over Shabazz. Then Harley sticks his nose in there for the rebound. And we'll get another held ball. This time it will stay at Boston College's end. Speaking of the standings in the Big East, Boston College, on the strength of its win over Providence last Saturday, all alone at 10-3. The Eagles still have one more game to play than Providence, and St. John's at 8-5 could still sneak in. What would happen, Dick, is if Boston College wins today but loses its last two, should St. John's wind up somehow in a two-way tie with the Eagles, the Red Storm would win the tiebreaker because they've already beaten Boston College once, and the only way they can catch them is by beating them again.
I say let's bring the attorneys in. You know what I mean?
No, that didn't work in Florida too well.
Okay. Well, you know, it's interesting because it's really what makes the Big East a great league this year. The race is incredibly tight, and these two teams can control their own destiny if they win, and that's really the important thing to remember. And I think it's really the reason for the intensity in this basketball game.
Foul on Maxey is first. That's 10 on the team. So now the Eagles in the double bonus situation, so everything will result in 2 shots, and it's been a very quiet day for Erron Maxey, who entering the ball game was tied for his team lead in scoring. He has just 2 points today.
Well, and one of the interesting decisions right here for Al Skinner is, when do I bring Troy Bell back into this basketball game?
Well, he's up 7, so he can buy some more time. On the left, it's Rogers. And here's a steal by Singletary, but he threw it too far. Not even Sidney could catch up with that one. Here's Rogers the other way. The reach-in foul will be called on Penny Harley. First foul on Harley, and that will be 8 on the Eagles. Tim Welsh, speaking about his depth, said, "I think we are fresher than our opponents this time of year. What it does is allow our kids to go all out for 4 to 5 minutes and know that someone rested will come in and be equally effective. Our kids have learned to trust each other."
And they really have. They really play with a lot of intensity, and everybody works so darn hard on the ball club, and that's really part of the reason for their success. They've really come together as a basketball team. The intensity's there, the chemistry's there, everybody makes a contribution, and that's the reason for their success. Tim Welsh has done a great job using 9 and 10 players.
We just saw on the screen the free throw breakdown today, and Boston College on the road getting many more opportunities from the line. We mentioned a couple of times that the Eagles did not get to the line very often at Notre Dame the other night. Well, last Saturday at Boston College, the Eagles had 17 more free throw attempts on their own floor than Providence. Sidney rejected by Rogers. And now, with 4:52 remaining, Troy Bell re-enters with 4 fouls.
Well, and both coaches are going with Bell, and here we see Sidney taking the basketball to the hole. He's for a young player. He's not afraid to get the basketball up to the basket. I think he had 17 the first go around against Providence.
Yes, he did, before fouling out after 21 minutes. Harley gives to Agbai. Shot clock at 20. Bell being guarded away from the ball by Mills. They look for him, can't get it to him. Instead, Sidney with Linehan all over him. Shot clock at 10. Now Bell dribbles off his foot. Harley recovers. Shot clock inside 5. Harley hangs, and Singletary gets the rebound and draws the foul. That's discouraging if you're Providence. So much so that Tim Welsh not only took off his coat, but he slam dunked it to the floor.
Well, it really is discouraging, but, you know, when a guard penetrates like that and gets an opportunity to take the shot, you can see the defense is all drawn to him, so there really isn't anybody to put a body on the Boston College players underneath.
Foul was on Galfit. That's his third. Everything is 2 shots now for the Eagles. Singletary makes the first. Dick with Troy Bell on the bench after picking up his 4th foul. The Eagles outscored the Friars 8-1. And having said that, Eagles are going back on defense, so Al Skinner will take advantage of the stoppage to get him out of there.
Sure, and why not? You know, with the lead, he can keep him off for this defensive sequence and bring him back in on offensive sequence.
Linehan, 8-point Boston College lead. Up the sideline, Maxey. Linehan again. Mills, they want to go inside to Shabazz. Instead, Maxey doubled. Singletary got a hand on it. And now Linehan is fouled by Harley. 2 on Harley, 9 on the Eagles, so a 1-on-1 opportunity for Linehan, who is 3rd in the Big East in free throw shooting at 86.6%.
And Bell comes back in on the offensive sequences. But, you know, really, right now, Providence isn't doing the same kind of job of attacking the pressure that they did in the first half. You know, they're not getting easy shots against this 3/4 court trap.
Jim Burr had some sort of discussion at the official scorers table. David Day is discussing things with Tim Welsh. By the way, when Welsh threw his coat down, it was my perception, I don't think he was upset with the officiating at all. He was upset that his team kept yielding offensive rebounds. Boston College has outscored the Friars 34-18 this half. So much for those woes getting out of the gates after intermission. Bell, wide open 3. Rebound, weak side, Harley. And again, the Eagles recycle that shot clock with their work off the offensive glass. Sidney in the lane. Rebound, Shabazz. He'll bring it up the floor himself. Here's Linehan battling down low. Agbai and Shabazz. Shabazz with the catch. And a whistle, a foul called by Jim Burr on Agbai. That will be number 3 on him. Now the Eagles have put the Friars in the double bonus. 10th foul, so everything for the remaining 3:13 will be 2 shots.
And Shabazz did a great job that time of really demanding the basketball down inside. He wanted it down in.
Shabazz earlier this season blocked 10 shots against Rhode Island, equaling a career high, and that ties him for the best such performance in the Big East this season. Providence now 5 for 12 from the line tonight. This afternoon, I should say. Timeout, 3:13 remaining. Boston College up 6. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Apart. It's senior day at the Providence Civic Center. Farewell to the class of 2001. Shabazz, Rogers, and there's Erron Maxey, who has only 2 points. Boston College ball. Up 6, 3:12 remaining. Troy Bell is 4 fouls. John Linehan and Karim Shabazz 3 each. Singletary cross court went right through the hands of Ramil Augustin.
And Providence really coming out and putting the full court pressure on, trying to create a turnover.
Now Bell is on the ball, but it's Augustin on him. He spent a good deal of last Saturday defending Bell. Augustin is 6'7". See if Bell tries to use his quickness. Instead shoots over him and gets his own rebound. And the crowd moans again at the Friars' inability to keep the Eagles off the offensive boards. 23-7 offensive rebounding edge for Boston College. Wow. Sidney for 3. And another offensive rebound. And Shabazz avoids his 4th foul and instead creates the held ball. This time possession arrow pointing toward Providence. Time now for the Beck's Beer game summary. And how about the second chances?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, they're doing a great job on the backboard, and Agbai is getting, inside and creating situations where they're getting second shot opportunities. The rebounding in this game, Boston College has really done a great job on the glass. They're an undersized team, but because of the offense that they run, they get players exchanging positions, and it really creates a problem in blocking out.
Shabazz down low, Agbai right with him. And then on the rebound, a foul will be called on BC. I think it's Agbai. It is, and that's his 4th.
Boston College fouls on number 00.
Take another look.
And you can see he takes the basketball hard to the basket. Laxa grabs it on the other side, misses the easy one.
Oh, he had his arm.
He really did. He was holding his hand.
Yep. Good call by Jim Haney. And Shabazz will go to the free throw line where the Friars have struggled. And this is a team that is #1 in the Big East in free throw shooting for the season. 72.8% entering today.
And you'll see some pressure if this foul shot goes in, put on by Providence right now.
Erron Maxey will return.
And that substitution's just to get better pressure on. Right now they get an opportunity to set their press up. They're going to deny the inbound pass.
Tim Welsh told me there's a buzz in this city over this game. I think he wasn't lying. Listen to this crowd with 1:50 remaining, and the Friars down 4.
Well, and Providence has always been a town that appreciates good college basketball.
Tremendous tradition here. A couple of NIT champions in the early 60s, Final Four team in the 70s, another Final Four team in the 80s. Shot clock is down to 12. Down low, Agbai on Shabazz. Remember, Agbai with 4 fouls, Shabazz with 3, and Agbai set the screen, which enabled Harley to get to the line.
A good move by Harley to take the basketball right at the basket, and an excellent screen. You can see they're trying to get the basketball down inside, and now Agbai just clears up the lane, and Harley has an opportunity to go one-on-one.
3rd foul on Mills. At the free throw line, Kenny Harley, where he is only 65.5% for the year, and this is the first. Kenny Harley was Al Skinner's very first recruit when he took the job here. Al was very successful, 9 years at Rhode Island. So much so that last October he was inducted into the University of Rhode Island Athletic Hall of Fame. Misses them both. Rebound Augustin. Friars with the ball. Down 4, 1:20 left.
A lot of time, but they got to get a good shot.
And Linehan, as he starts to go, Tim Welsh will call timeout.
And that's a good timeout by Tim Welsh that time, because you're getting a little out of control, and you want to make sure in this possession you get a good one.
Let's take a look at what lies ahead for the Boston College Eagles at 19-4, 10-3. A non-league game Monday night against Morris Brown, then a huge date Wednesday night at home against St. John's. Remember, they lost to the Red Star at Madison Square Garden. And then they close out the regular season 1 week from tonight at West Virginia. The Big East tournament starting a week from Wednesday. And for Providence, a 6-day layoff after today, and then final game of the season next Saturday at Rutgers, and then the Big East tournament. That's why that St. John's Boston College game on Wednesday, the return match, is huge. Not only for both of those teams, but for Providence. It will affect seeding in the Big East tournament. It will affect St. John's ability to get into a postseason tournament.
And right now on this offensive play, you're probably going to look for some kind of penetration, and there it is.
Linehan can't get it to go. Rebound Boston College, and a foul is called. Is it on Laxa or Shabazz? They both crashed the boards very hard, knocking Agbai to the floor. It will be Shabazz's 4th. Elsewhere on a very busy day in the Big East, Georgetown beats Syracuse at the MCI Center. And down in Blacksburg, Notre Dame beats Virginia Tech, and with that win, Mike Bray's Irish have clinched the Big East West Division. So congratulations to the Irish. 14 points on 8 of 11 foul shooting for Yuka Agbai. He's been terrific in the second half. And here's the updated standings in the West. Notre Dame now 11-3. Georgetown and Syracuse are both 8-6.
And one team that you don't want to forget about in the West is West Virginia. They are really playing well right now.
So the worst the Irish can do is finish 11-5, so that's why they clinch. The lead is 6. Final minute. Mills, head fake. Under pressure, misses the shot. Rebound on a hop, Shabazz. And I think Harley will be whistled for the reach-in foul.
Boston College fouls on number 13. Kenny Harley, his third, team limit.
Number 3 on the senior from the Bronx. And to the free throw line will go Karim Shabazz. 66% shooter for the season entering this afternoon's game with Boston College. 5 for 8 today. As Maxey returns, replacing Laxer. As Tim Welsh continues to make those offensive defensive substitutions. He wants Laxer on the floor because he can hit the three. Maxey because of his quickness and maybe his offensive rebounding. He got that offensive ball. Shabazz around Agbai. So the lead is now 3 and Tim Welsh gets a timeout. So that substitution putting Maxey in pays dividends. Three-point Boston College lead, and what do you do in the huddle if you're the Friars, Dick?
Well, right now, they've got to be talking about putting full court pressure on, okay? And they're going to look for a trap without question, you know, and try to get a turnover.
Now let's take a look at the BMW ultimate drive of the game, and Ryan Sidney absolutely exploding from one end to the other.
Well, he's had a heck of an afternoon, and you know, just a heads-up player, a guy that plays with a lot of enthusiasm, very aggressive player. But right now, if you're Tim Welsh, you're talking to your ball club right now. Let's get a 5-second count. Let's see if we can't get a turnover. And I wouldn't be surprised if after 1 or 2 passes, you know, he's got a decision to make as to whether or not he wants to take a foul. He's still going to get a possession out of it with the 35-second clock, but he might want to stretch the game a little bit.
And down to Agbai. Interesting, Al Skinner doesn't have Bell bring the ball up, and the pass up the floor is thrown away. We are at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. A thriller between Boston College and Providence. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Dick Ducey. 32 seconds left. Providence trailing 59-56. Friars ball. Shabazz defended by Agbai. Around the screen comes Linehan. Penetrates. Lays it in. The lead is 1 with 17. Timeout Friars. 13 points for John Linehan.
And he's done a great job, hasn't he? He's the leader of the ball club, and he's the guy they went to in that situation. They elected not to go for 3. He takes it to the basket and converts. They get a timeout, an opportunity to put the pressure back on again.
Take another look at the explosiveness of Linehan.
And he's inside amongst the trees right there, but I'll tell you what, the guy plays under control. He's a smart, heady basketball player. And really the reason, you know, Bob, that he has done such a great job this year, and I think it's a real reason for Providence's turnaround.
So if you're Providence, you obviously go for the steal, and if you don't get it, do you foul right away, or do you try to force the Eagles to beat the 10-second clock first?
Well, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a denial to try to get the basketball in bounds and try to get a 5-second count. They'll try to get a quick trap somewhere along the way before they take a foul. And I think once that pass is made out of the trap, if they don't get it, then you'll see a foul taken. And even if Boston College converts to, they still have an opportunity with possession to bring it down and knock down a 3.
And keep this number in mind: 8-5-9. 85.9%. That's Troy Bell's free throw shooting percentage for the year. So should it be Bell who winds up at the line, keep that in mind. Now Boston College is going to call timeout on top of the Providence timeout. It's been a remarkable turnaround for both of these teams. Boston College last season was 9-14 after 23 games. This season, a complete reversal. In fact, Dick, they not only have won more games this season than last year, 8 more, they've won more games this season than they did the last 2 seasons combined.
Well, they just have great chemistry as a basketball team. They've taken it all the way to the top of the conference. But right now, you can see Providence coming back on the floor, and they're going to be all over this inbounds pass.
They give it to the big guy, Agbai, back to Singletary. Bell up the floor to Harley. Now they have to foul. And Linehan reaches in and commits foul number 4. And to the free throw line will go Kenny Harley. Entering the game, Harley was 65.5%. Has had just 2 chances today. He's missed them both.
And it's a good job by Providence that time. They tried to get the 5-second tap, tried to get the turnover in the backcourt, didn't get it. There's still 9.9 left on the clock. And now it's all up to Harley on the foul line.
Providence in the double bonus, so Harley will shoot 2, not 1 and 1. And after the first one, Maris Laksa, a 3-point specialist, checks in replacing Maxey. Laksa, a freshman from Latvia, shoots 47.6% from 3-point range.
And you got to think that the ball is going to get in the hands of Linehan, and he is going to penetrate hard to the basket. He gets to the paint and looks for the open guy on the perimeter.
They don't need the 3 because Harley with the miss. Up the floor, Linehan, and who touched it last? David Day says it went off Agbai. 5.8 seconds left. Providence ball down 1. Laksa to throw the inbound.
Situation where Providence doesn't have any timeouts left, so you're going to have to rely on the play that they usually run.
Laksa knocked away by Harley. Still loose. Augustin for the win. And Boston College escapes with a 1-point win in a thriller. 59-58.
What a ball game, huh? And what a great job, really, of getting a shot off in those final seconds by Providence. Hangs on the rim, doesn't go down, and Boston College gets something that they really need, and that's a win on the road right here. And, you know, if you're looking for something that has to happen right here, watch the trap right here that BC puts on Laksa. And the ball gets loose, it's batted around a little bit. All of a sudden, it winds up in Augustine's hands, hangs on the rim.
With 3-point shots, with the 3-point shots, pass it back to the crowd going out of control. Take them to the hole, take them to the hole, body and soul. Madison Square, you out there, guys. Human beings flying through the air everywhere.
Well, the 3-point shots haven't been falling at the AT&T Big East quarterfinal for the Friars. 2 out of the East, trailing Syracuse 32-17. And Len, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to break down the score sheet.
Well, Providence, the leading 3-point field goal shooting team in the conference, 0 for 10 from the field. That's a huge chunk out of their offense. And really, they've been passive. But on the other hand, this is as aggressive as I've seen Syracuse play basketball.
Now you go back to your keys. You had Linehan, not as disruptive as he normally is.
No, he's not determined. He's the invisible man right now. 2 steals, only 5 turnovers by Syracuse. On the other side of it, we talked about the 0 for 10 from 3 points. So the long ball is non-existent for Providence.
It's not just the shots didn't fall. The quality of the threes is not what Providence has normally taken during the year. Linehan tries to get the team going. They started out just fine. A couple of quick field goals. It was 6-2. Linehan knocks down the triple for his